Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Hi, I'm Ray Hagar, standing in for Sam Shad on Nevada Newsmakers. Today's subject is news literacy. And we'll be talking with Jody Baden, a former school board member at Washoe County School District, and Steve Mulvenon, a former communications director for the Washoe County School District. Coming up next on Nevada Newsmakers.
Ring in the new year with newfound cash during the New Year Cash Extravaganza only at the Carson Valley Inn. Win up to $7,500 in giveaways every week. Then win big with $10,000 in cash and free play during the grand prize party January 31st. Start 2026 with a bang only at the Carson Valley Inn.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Ray Hagar, standing in for Sam Shad, and today's subject is news literacy. And joining us today are two people that know quite a lot about it. First, Jody Baden. She is the coordinator of the News Literate Community Initiative. And Steve Mulvenon, he's the former communications director with the Washoe County School District. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
And Steve, before we start, I just want to say publicly to you that, I spent 40 years in the newspaper business, and I think you were the best communication director that I dealt with. So I just wanted to compliment you on that.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Okay, let's get back to news literacy. First off, the news literacy is the ability to judge whether news and other information in the public realm is trustworthy. And Jody, okay, we have a definition of news literacy, but could you give us some examples? Because the people might not resonate with the definition.
Yeah, that's a new term for a lot of people. It's mainly been in academia, I think, academic circles. And I like to say it's really the ability to tell fact from fiction in news of all kinds. And so, it could be watching an ad on TV. It could be a political flyer. It could be any kind of news that you're watching that's supposed to be, calls itself news, but it's really entertainment. And so people need a lot of skills and a lot of help to determine what's really true and what isn't. And now we have AI, of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's very confusing for everyone.
It's like a smokescreen on the truth.
Correct, yeah.
Steve, what do you think led us to this crisis of misinformation? Did it begin to grow with social media or TV networks partially to blame for the way they present the news? Maybe if you could expand on that.
Sure. I don't think it's any secret that the news media landscape has really become fractured over the last 10 or 15 years. There are so many sources that people can go to some are, legitimate legacy news operations like the major networks. But I really think that it's the growth of social media that has, poisoned the well and made it so easy for anybody to call themselves a journalist and claim that they're producing news when it might just be opinion or misinformation. So it's a very confusing environment for people to deal with. And I think that's one of the real reasons that Jody, I think, had the good sense to try to start an organization here locally that was going to help people deal with all of that.
Okay, Jody, let me ask you, this nonprofit group that you've helped organize to combat this problem, what exactly is your mission, your goals, and what do you hope to accomplish?
What are we trying to do?
Yes.
Well, as I said, people need a lot of help. They need tips, tools, and techniques to deal with, I think, the onslaught of information or misinformation or disinformation. And so, I did a lot of thinking about why people made the decisions they made, whether it was political or health or, business or job, whatever. I think a lot of it is about literacy, that we have a literacy problem in this country. The average literacy rate is about 50%. The average reading level is 5th or 6th grade. So that's a problem. A lot of folks are working on literacy. But then the question is, can they really tell fact from fiction if they can read well? And so I think everyone needs that kind of help. It doesn't really matter what your education level is. And of course, people who are not literate in English or not fluent in English or even, have trouble reading are at a big disadvantage and very vulnerable. So we have a slate of activities scheduled and planned to give people the help that they need to try to better distinguish fact from fiction.
Okay, I want to ask you about that on the second segment, but one last question, and either one of you can answer it, is, do you want to, Jody, you were a former trustee of the Washoe County School District.
Right.
You were the communications director.
Yeah.
Do you want to see news literacy taught in high schools in the area? Would that be one of your goals?
Well, some people are already working on this, and we know that there is plenty of curriculum out there, and there are a lot of resources for teachers. Of course, a standalone course in media literacy is an onerous request of teachers that are already overwhelmed, but it works well to integrate it into a lot of different content areas. We're concerned about adults, and so we'll let the school district and the educators work on teaching kids to be more critical in their thinking. But we're very concerned about parents and other adults in the community who are new to this landscape. They're not digital natives for the most part. They're digital immigrants, and this is a whole new environment for them. When you have a lot of people who aren't even that comfortable using computers, and yet they make decisions that affect everyone, like voting.
Yes.
So we're really focused on adults.
Okay, let's stop it right here. We'll be back with our guests right after these few messages.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
The new year is bringing new ways to win big during the $175,000 Winter Wonderland giveaways at Tamarack Casino. Win up to $5,000 in cash every week and a top prize of $20,000 in cash during the grand finale drawing. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guests today, Jody Baden and Steve Mulvenon. We're talking about news literacy. Now, in news, let me ask you, Steve. In news literacy, you want to be apolitical, but the way the news, everybody looks at the news through different glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people see it, if they're conservative, they look at it in a conservative way. If they're more liberal, they look at it in the liberal way. So, especially in this environment that's so hyper political, how do you keep something like news literacy apolitical?
Well, let me put it this way. There's plenty of misinformation on both ends of the political spectrum. I mean, you know, nobody is perfect.
Right.
So it's not our job in this nonprofit that we're launching to try to tell people what's true and what's not. That's not our mission. What we want to do is to give people the tools and techniques and the resources that they can find on our website, by the way, to try to make some sense out of this. We've done a number of presentations out in the community, and on a time or two, I've started by asking people, how many of you have read something online, maybe in your Facebook feed or on Instagram, and you've wondered, is that true? Is that accurate? I mean, how do I know that it's dependable information, and where do I go to try to find out the answer to that question? That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, you mentioned a website. Where can people go to see your website, and what is exactly on it? Jody, do you want to?
Okay.
Yeah, Jody, take.
So we do have a website. We're real now. You know, you have to have a website to be real.
Oh, yeah.
So we have one, and it has a lot of great resources. It's nlcwasho.org, like News Literate Community Washoe, nlcwasho.org. And it's a work in progress. We're adding things all the time, so I encourage people to check it out. And the one thing I wanted to say was, as Steve said, it's not our job to tell people what's true. We are not the arbiters of truth. But I look at it similar to consumer education of anything. You know, people need to learn to be savvy consumers of news, just like they need to be savvy consumers of dental health or banking or whatever decisions they're having to make. They need tips and tools to make good decisions.
Okay, a friend of mine, a local high school government teacher, I was telling him about this news literacy project, and he said that when he was teaching, he would tell his students that generally websites that ended in edu.edu or .gov were pretty credible. Is that still the case today? Steve, I'll throw it at you.
Yeah, I for the most part, yeah. EDU, you know, colleges and universities, you can typically depend upon them to be well-grounded and you know, have a high factuality. The same thing true with most government websites. So, yeah, I think it's good advice. Generally, that's the case.
I thought of one more. .org, is that another that's generally?
I think that was kind of.
That was a little dicey. I mean, if you know, anybody that's a you know, a nonprofit can have that .org designation at the end. It just indicates that you're not a commercial site. You're not the government, and you're not a business. That's really it's all it says.
Okay. And really, there's no requirement that you show that you are a nonprofit to get that. So anybody can say they're a .org and come across as nonprofit, but there's no real requirement.
Okay. Now, Jody, isn't February 2nd, is that the beginning of News Literacy Week? Could
It
you
is.
talk about that and what
Yes.
you have planned?
I'd be glad to. News Literacy Week is a national observance. It's about 7 years old, was started by the News Literacy Project, which is a national nonprofit that really focuses on K-12 curriculum and resources. Sponsored also by USA Today and Scripps News. And we're excited because Washoe County has never really had a big observance of this. In different spots, it's been acknowledged. But we're excited that PBS is one of our partners. They're doing an event. UNR is showing a film, and theirs is called Trust Me, and it's about media and truth, because people's confidence in the media is at an all-time low. So I think it's a timely topic. We're also going to have a virtual webinar on how to be a News Literate ambassador. And our News Literate community ambassadors are folks that we are going to train to go out into the community and present content about news literacy and training people in different groups.
Okay. I want to talk about the loss of trust, but let's take a break here and we'll come back to that for the third segment. We'll be right back after these few words.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
You're in trouble with the law. It's easy to think you'll lose everything, but there is hope. I'm attorney Orrin Johnson. Your first step is to hire a serious attorney with the experience to successfully navigate the legal system for you.
Sometimes hope means addiction treatment instead of jail, and making sure you're treated fairly.
Sometimes hope means fearless trial attorneys will stand up to the government when they get it wrong. Call or text Orrin Johnson Law.
We'll make a plan.
You'll take back your life.
Meet Nevada Health Link, Nevada's official health insurance marketplace. Your link to savings, selection, free assistance, and name brand health insurance, where 90% of enrollees lower the cost of their monthly premium. Everyone deserves access to quality health coverage, no matter your income or family size. Visit NevadaHealthLink.com. A few minutes could save you hundreds of dollars per month.
Nevada Health Link. Our plans are made for your plans.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Hi, welcome back. And today's topic is news literacy. Our guest, of course, is Jody Baden and Steve Mulvenon. Steve, let me speak with you for a minute here. Over the last 10 years, there seems to be a real erosion of especially television news. In the context of believability. What has this led to? Is this why we need a news literacy remake or a news literacy tune-up for the general population?
Well, the short answer is yes.
Okay.
Let me give you some detail.
Please expand.
Yeah. I think you're right. The Gallup organization and the Pew Research organization both have documented the fact that trust in the legacy news, newspapers, TV, radio, is at an all-time low. Gallup says that 36% of Americans have no trust in news, and 33% say not very much. So if trust in the major legacy news organizations is at a low, I think that's what has driven some people to turn to social media to try to find out what's going on. But that's a problem in and of itself. I mean, and I'm as guilty as anybody of this, you tend to get into an echo chamber on social media, and the algorithms that that Facebook and X and all those use simply reinforces your viewpoint. So people are fed a constant diet of one particular point of view, and I think that reinforces their distrust in what they're hearing from regular legacy media.
Because
outlets.
they might not match up.
Exactly.
Okay, Jody, it seems like what's really changed, in my opinion, about the delivery of TV news is that now, instead of having a Walter Cronkite just deliver the facts, we have news shows. They're more concerned with being entertaining than they are perhaps factual. And this is, in our media in the evening when most people would watch TV, there's a definite conservative slant and a definite liberal slant to various TV stations. Do you think this enhances the problem of news literacy or the lack of it?
I do. When print media was big and you got your daily newspaper, or sometimes twice daily for some places, it was very clear what was news and what was opinion. And now you can turn on any channel and you're not sure whether it's news or opinion. There's no disclosure that this is opinion. And I think that's very confusing to people when, a lot of it really is designed just to be entertainment, and people don't understand that. They take it as fact.
Well, how do you, you're trying to make people more literate about news. How do they get, how do they distinguish between what is opinion and what is news when it's presented on the same format all the time?
Well, that is confusing, especially when, it's so entertaining. And these people, the journalists, TV journalists, have these big personalities. I think the main thing is don't believe everything you hear. People have to put out a little effort to try to find other sources that corroborate whatever someone said. If one person is saying it and there's no one else saying it, sounds like opinion.
Well, I think you really struck a nerve with me, because in my journalism career, I know that you can't have a credible news story with just one source. Especially on a controversial issue, you need both sides of the story. And Steve, I go back to the 2016 presidential election, and our own government has said that Russia and somehow was a player in fake news, through social media. Do you think that's when this really took off, is people not trusting the media? Or was it sooner than that or later than that?
Well, I'm sure as heck didn't help. I think there's good evidence now that some of our adversaries, Russia, Iran, China, are really skilled at introducing fake news into the mix, using bots, pretending to be real people or real organizations, and stoking fear and mistrust and distrust into what the U.S. is trying to do. But I want to circle back if I can for a minute. It's not just, what we're dealing with is not just political news. That's kind of what we've been focusing on today. But the same issues exist in medicine, in environmental issues. News is everything. It's not just about politics.
Okay, one last question. you say this is mostly for adults, but I'm thinking that, this could really help students too. Have you had any conversations with the school district, the State Department of Education, or even the university regents about this topic?
Yes. The school district has folks in their administration who push out workshops for teachers, teaching them about news literacy. So the school district is trying to get more news literacy and media literacy into their curriculum. So that's for sure. But they also are very concerned about parent engagement. And parents set the example. They are in a different world from their kids. They need more help than their kids do because they're not living in that world. But the school district and the Department of Ed have a real interest in parents becoming educated about news literacy.
And that's where we have to leave it. Thank you for coming in today. We'll be right back to wrap up this edition of Nevada Newsmakers.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Hey, thanks for watching. You can go to NevadaNewsmakers.com and see the stories that I write on the interviews, and many of them are also seen in the Reno Gazette Journal and Nevada Appeal. Thank you for watching.